Good evening, everyone. We would like to welcome you to another session of Modus Operandi, in which we have already been talking about and discussing about Gangetic River Dolphins in the Brahmaputra and other places as well. So, in order to lead that further, we have with us Dr. Sunny Deori, and she's going to introduce herself. But this is a continuation of the Gangetic River Dolphin discussion that we have had prior to this about community aspects. So today, Sunny is going to enlighten us more about, get into the nitty-gritties and the technical aspects of Gangetic River Dolphin conservation. And Sunny, it's all up to you now.
Hi, Manas. Thank you so much for introducing me. And thank you very much also for bringing me up to your platform to share my views on Gangetic dolphin, one of the charismatic species which is found in our very own Assam
Right.
and our country, India, of course. So,
Of course.
so I'm Sunny Deori, and I'm doing my PhD research on Ganges dolphins and its ecology, and also looking into the social aspects about the communities, how their perception is towards conserving Ganges
Right.
dolphin and the entire wider ecosystem, aquatic ecosystem.
Right. Right. Right, and to begin with, we have already spoken about certain community aspects, but
Yep.
today, we would really like to know about what kind of species, this is all about. Then this is a state aquatic animal of Assam, and
Yes.
people
Very
are
true.
not very much aware about this, and that is the saddest part. I mean, I would say in Assam, it being the national, the state aquatic animal. I mean,
Yep.
we should
Yeah.
be spreading this awareness more. So it
Yes.
is with that context that we would want you to speak about it thoroughly. Please do not leave any stone unturned. I mean, whatever we can on about Gangetic River Dolphins.
Okay, I will try my best to make
Yeah.
people understand also about the technical terms we use in our
Right.
scientific society.
Right.
So
Right.
first of all, we'll go to know about Ganges dolphin. Actually, what is Ganges dolphin? So when we
Mhm.
talk regarding this, then first thing that clicked in my mind is that dolphins are mammals. Mammals
Right.
means those animals who have
Mhm.
mammary glands. Mammary glands means they can breastfeed their offspring. So that is how
Mhm.
we define mammals. And
Okay.
secondly, they belong to so we separate them down into order Cetacea. So
Mhm.
cetacea, when we say cetacea are actually, it includes all the whales, dolphins, and porpoises,
Mhm.
which we normally see in the marine habitat. So
Right.
after that, again we can divide these whales into two categories,
Mhm.
two families we can say. So that
Mhm.
will be the baleen or
Mhm.
the mysticity. More scientific term is mysticity. Mysticity means they have baleens, they don't have
Mhm.
tooth. So it's more of like a mesh, a
Okay.
net that is in the form of
Okay.
jaws. So those basically belongs to the largest animal in this world
Mhm.
are the blue whales. So
Right.
they were categorized into baleen whales. Then
Mhm.
another category will be the toothed whales, and also they are
Mhm.
known as the odontocetes. So in this category, all the whales and dolphins and porpoises who have tooth were
Mhm.
included. And so
Mhm.
after this, so now we know that there are two types of whales. One is baleen and odontocetes. Now we also, if we just bring the image of Ganges dolphin in our mind, then we can
Mhm.
prominently see all those teeth coming out
Mhm.
in the jaw part, in the rostrum,
Mhm.
in the mouth. So
Mhm.
that specifically, decides that these Ganges dolphins belongs to the group Odontocetes. Means they are the
Mhm.
toothed whales. So now,
Right.
coming to the point, how this, we have seen dolphins in marine ecosystem. We have seen them a lot of time in Discovery channels and all
Right,
other
right. True.
this animal related,
Animal
wildlife
Planet,
related
yeah.
channels.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Mm.
So when we want to, separate these two things, either marine or freshwater, what is our dolphin is. So it will be very interesting to, trace back the history of Ganges dolphin. So this actually, the fossil record which have been like recorded, it goes back to about middle Eocene period. Eocene means about 52 millions of years before
Oh, okay.
present. Okay,
Okay. Okay.
so it goes that back. So at that the time, it was like the bones or the fossils which have been this group of scientists, they have got it. So they relate it to uh, some kind of terrestrial animals which were like they are they have been compared with those terrestrial animals with this totally aquatic animal of present, which we have seen now, the whales. So those terrestrial animals were artiodactyla. Artiodactyla means the animals who have even toes, like the like the deers, or the
Right.
this one, the very in our it's like near and here we can see the cows. Those are even toads, means they have two toads. The whole body is each legs were separated into two toes. So their body is yeah, it is it is balanced in between these two toes. So those section of animals were known as artiodactyla. So the
Right.
last fossil record, it it has some resemblance with those kind of terrestrial animals. So
Okay.
the history tell us that these animals actually moved from the terrestrial, that is the land, to water in that in this long run of time. So after that, when we see how these marine and freshwater dolphins
Yeah, that's
come to being.
very interesting. Yeah. True,
Yeah,
true. Very
so
interesting.
at that time, yeah, so now we have to see that Ganges dolphins are exclusively freshwater dolphins. They can't tolerate a single
Correct.
rise in salinity in the water. So
Right. True.
and they are the only surviving descendants of this archaic odontocete, which I have already
Right.
described. Yeah.
Previously, yeah.
So what happened? The evolutionary history says that these animals, they have ventured into the epicontinental seas of Indo-Gangetic basin. That is our basin. This
Oh,
Brahmaputra and
right.
Ganga. This all
True.
together is known as the Indo-Gangetic basin, and they
Right.
remained there in this
Okay.
transition period,
Mm-hmm.
and they became an extensive freshwater ecosystem. This became an extensive freshwater ecosystem during that transgressive regressive sea level
Right.
regression whichever happened during
Right.
the late Neogene trend. Okay, so this is how actually the river dolphins have moved towards the freshwater ecosystem, and they finally they got adjusted, they got evolved into a totally new species, and which is we
Right.
just now,
Right.
right now we know it as the Platanista gangetica, or the our Ganges, very own Ganges dolphin.
Right.
So
So
that is
it's
about
actually
the
very
yeah.
interesting. I mean, it's actually very interesting to know, how because I think most of the species have gone into that evolution process, and there
Yes.
has been so much of evolution when it comes to Gangetic River Dolphins. I mean, the kind of thing that you're going to say even after this, the evolution process even after that. So that's very
Yeah.
interesting. I mean, people are not even aware of it. So like I'm
Yes.
I'm very pleased. I'm like very happy that people should know. I mean, how they have evolved and what they have become now. So
Yes. So
from marine,
see
I mean,
the,
yeah.
Yeah, from the if we just imagine the scenes of underwater of a marine ecosystem, it's so crystal clear, and
True, true, true.
then suddenly it get transferred into one of the murkiest habitat in the world, that is the freshwater
True,
ecosystem.
true,
So definitely
true.
has gone the world's most like evolution process, through evolution process,
Mm,
and it has
mm,
modified itself and become so
mm,
adjusted to the new
true.
environment that it has become just make it like its own habitat.
Mm, mm.
So
True, true, true.
yeah,
I mean, yeah, I mean, you can continue. I mean, that's because
yeah.
I'm
So
really like, I really want people to know, and even I'm very much interested because since we have also worked together in certain platforms sometime. So yeah, I mean,
yes, so, some interesting like changes they have made to their body during this evolution. Like they
mm,
have they have evolved with that elongated rostrum, to pick
right,
up all the
right,
small
right.
fishes and crustaceans they can found
Mm,
in a freshwater ecosystem.
mm,
They have also
mm,
evolved, some swimming behaviors. Like this can be only found in this freshwater dolphins, that they
mm,
used to swim
mm.
sidewise, so
Right.
that they can,
Oh.
move faster in a shallow water system like river. So these are
Mm,
some very nice like adaptations they have made to
mm,
themselves to
mm,
survive in this,
mm,
thrive in this kind of
mm,
river system.
mm.
So yeah, so
True.
that's about like a minimal I have said about the
Right,
evolution of Ganges
right,
dolphin.
right,
So
right.
after that, we would like to know that where they are distributed. So
Correct. Right.
yeah, so when we see about the distribution, then firstly we should know that actually there are two lineages. Two, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
this same Platanista gangetica has
Mm-hmm.
are distributed in two river dolphins, two sister river dolphins, you
Right.
can say. So
Right.
they are sisters. In the way they have
Mm-hmm.
some similarities, except for few dissimilarities. So they
Mm.
are categorized as two sister river dolphins. One is known as the Platanista
Okay.
gangetica, which is
Mm-hmm.
distributed in India, Nepal, and Bangladesh. And
Mm-hmm.
Platanista gangetica minor, which is also
Mm-hmm.
known as Indus dolphins, and
Mm.
it's distributed in the Indus River of Pakistan.
Okay.
So these two are sister dolphins, but we are mainly focusing today on Platanista gangetica. That is the Ganges dolphin, which
Right.
we found in India, Nepal, and
Right.
Bangladesh. So in
Right.
India, Nepal, and Bangladesh, these are distributed in Ganges and Brahmaputra in India,
Mm-hmm.
and Meghna in Bangladesh, and
Mm-hmm.
Karnafuli, Shangu rivers in Nepal.
Nepal. Right.
Yeah, so this is its worldwide distribution. And if we
Mm-hmm.
talk about particularly about Assam, then the
Mm-hmm.
historical distribution in Brahmaputra river system says that its presence was almost in all of its tributaries. However,
Right.
since the range has drastically reduced to only
Mm-hmm.
900 kilometers stretch of the main stem of Brahmaputra,
Mm-hmm.
and in its tributaries Subansiri and Kulsi, which have a
Mm-hmm.
resident population.
Right.
So this is how it's distributed in Assam part. And if we want to know about the population status, how many of dolphins has remained now in
Mm-hmm.
this particular distribution range, then the
Right.
recent publication from Wildlife Institute of India have said that about nearly about 900 dolphins were there surviving in Brahmaputra
900
River.
individuals, you mean say? You mean to say? Right.
900, yeah, 900 individuals. So
Okay.
about 900 individuals.
Mm-hmm.
So
But
that
if
is
you
what,
talk about the overall platform, I mean, if you talk about the distribution of them in Bangladesh and also into Nepal, so then how
yeah.
much of a status can we come up
Then,
with? I mean,
then, then,
3,500 maybe.
yeah, it will be about nearly about yeah 3,000, 3,500. So it's
Okay,
about
okay.
it's in its entire distributional range.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
it's still dwindling, right? I mean, it's still dwindling between that
obviously.
point because of, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
obviously. because of all those threats they are facing these days.
Correct.
Obviously, because of the anthropogenic threats mainly. So obviously, the population is on stake now.
True. Right. And what are the steps? I mean, if we talk about, what kind of steps that we should be taking, I mean, to conserve the river dolphins out here in Assam and in other places as well. So what kind of major step that as an individual could take, and what has been done by other organizations as a whole? I mean, looking into the research aspects.
Okay. So see, first of all, this river dolphins, these Ganges dolphins, they are so much associated with the human community. That unlike other protected areas where we have lots of restrictions to go inside the protected areas, anything like national parks or tiger reserves or anything. So those have all those limitations and restrictions to the public, to the communities. But here the scenario is all total a different one, because we don't have particular restricted zones for these species to conserve. Okay, so because its habitat itself, it moves towards all the mosaics of different landscapes and human communities, and their different human communities related beliefs and everything, if we just bring them all together. So protection itself of this particular species is difficult. This is a difficult species altogether. So so that's why it will be very, very important to to involve all those communities, human communities, which are actually closely associated with this dolphin, with this animal. So, and also we have to consider their traditional knowledge, how to keep the river. It's like not only the dolphins but also its wider ecosystem. So those things we have to, those things we have to consider.
True.
And obviously from personal level, if we are targeting the students or the people residing the villages residing these dolphin habitats. So from that level, if we can, obviously we have to take care of the pollution that we create to the rivers. We can minimize it from our own individual levels. So these are some of the things that we should consider. How we can, minimize there can be a variety of pollutants, right? Starting from a toffee wrapper you have held in your hands.
True. Yeah, absolutely.
So we can start from that. And this can go on, like some big level of pollutions. Like if we can talk about the oil pollution we recently had.
Yeah, recently. Very recently.
Yeah. So there are multiple, stages of pollution which we create as a human being. So we can restrict them.
So don't you think, in our last session, what we discussed about the laws, and that was there was an advocate coming up, and we were discussing about what is the corporate responsibility of these kind of bigger corporations who are running beside the Brahmaputra, and what role are they going to play? Because in the longer run, if you see the kind of tragedy which has happened recently in recent times in Guijan area, and also in Dibru-Soikwa area and Bagjan area. So these things are like, these are not, something which has happened. This is not a nature's catastrophe. This is not. These are all man-made, right?
Man-made, yeah.
And just because, just because of to, fulfill those needs, or not looking into the aspects of environment, not looking into the aspects of wildlife and how it could pollute, the pollution aspects. So this is what even the corporates has to play a very big role here.
Exactly.
I mean, they have a much bigger
they should have
responsibility
actually, they should actually keep in hand those expertise who can tackle those problems.
True.
So this is the much needed thing they should do beforehand.
Mm. Right.
You know,
Yeah, even
going.
even before getting into certain basin, let's say if they are trying to operate near a riverbank, they should
Yeah.
have all these concerns first. They have to sort
Yes.
out. They have to think
Sort out.
about what are the aspects that we are going to get into. I mean, are
Exactly.
doing certain kind of thing is how is it going to affect the environment and what kind of clearance the government and other agencies are going to give them to even establish that kind of a setup out there, right?
Yes.
So that has to be
Very true.
looked upon at the very beginning, not later on when a tragedy
Not
happens.
different. Yeah, we can't wait for a
Right.
disaster to happen. We have
Correct.
to
Correct.
be full prepared
Correct.
before we,
Right.
you know.
Right.
Yeah. So, so these are some
So,
of the threats,
hmm,
obviously,
true. True.
and
True.
obviously there are, in this time of flood situation, which is
Hmm.
the
Hmm.
Assam
True.
people are
True.
facing. So
Right. Right.
the floods we are facing today is
Hmm.
not totally, we can say it's a natural cause.
Right.
Obviously it is associated with the human developed cause.
Indulgence. Right.
So
Human indulgence.
we
Yeah.
can see all those dams and barrages,
Hmm.
uh,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
there is always this this mentality
Hmm.
of so-called developing development that we are making
Right.
to make a home for the rivers. So
Hmm.
those concepts were
Hmm.
actually deteriorating the entire natural
Hmm.
regime of aquatic ecosystem. So
Right.
those
Right.
things has to be checked now.
Hmm.
We have
Hmm.
burning examples in front of us. We have the examples of Rhine River, where
Hmm.
the people actually want to make it a want to connect it with other rivers and make waterways uh,
Hmm.
for larger ships and all. And then what we
Right.
have seen finally, what was the output? Finally was the output is that, like, they have spent millions of rupees to
And
bring
where is
the
that?
Rhine River back
Where did
to
that
its
happen? Where did that
yeah,
happen? I mean, can you just name the places
it's in
where
Rhine,
this
Rhine
incident?
River. It's Rhine
Okay.
River. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so that Rhine, they have spent that government. Their government has spent millions of rupees to just bring back Rhine to its near natural state. I mean,
Okay.
what was the
Okay.
point then making it
Right.
modify it to something different that
Right.
which was not actually going to happen anyway.
Hmm. 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 Hmm.
So
Right.
that's what also we are, these are the some of the examples that we should take lessons from and should learn.
Hmm. Hmm.
But
Hmm.
unfortunately, we can see that we are not actually taking lessons, but we are just following the same
Yeah, the
paths.
same pattern. The same pattern.
Yeah, the
The
same
same
pattern.
pattern has been followed. Yeah, the same pattern, and no matter what certain conservationists and certain environmentalists, and for that matter, anyone coming up and trying to work for the environment, like there are the first thing what is very disappointing is there are a lot of funds to do a lot of other work, but I don't know what happens when it comes to the environment, when it comes to ecology, when it comes to understanding the wildlife and environment. I mean, working on those aspects, people do not have funds to fetch in. I don't understand why. I mean, that has been going on for quite some time. You will find people coming up with industries which are creating pollution, which are
Yes,
not actually syncing together with the environment, but there are more funds coming up on those aspects, but they're not much funds coming up. See, I'm not saying that they should be, we are lacking funds and everything. No, it's not that. But we have to understand what we should actually be focusing on. Our
yes,
focus should more on nature and nature industries. There are many nature and environment industries that could be set up, that could be built up, the, let's say, cultivation, let's say irrigation, the water harvesting. There's so many things that could be done. Why aren't industries coming up on these aspects, that building nature to be the biggest industry and working for the nature and the environment, and then it will help us to be in sync with
truly said.
all the aspects, correct? Right.
Yes, I
So
agree.
I mean, this is what really disturbs me sometimes when I see people coming up with different kind
Yeah,
of funding and certain industries built on, but
I
are
can
those
totally
industries going to
understand that.
help us?
Yes.
Right. Right. So, I mean, the next aspects that you could enlighten us upon is more about what steps should be taken, and more about Gangetic River Dolphins, like what has happened to them in the recent years. I mean,
Yeah.
how has they been treated? I mean,
So yeah, see, the population has suddenly declined because
mm,
we were
mm,
obviously we are aware about all those anthropogenic activities that were happening in the
mm,
aquatic ecosystem, but we are
mm,
ignoring them every day.
right. True.
So
True.
these dolphins are, they are piscivorous, means they are totally
Right.
dependent on fishes. So
Right.
we can see that the fish regulation act, which have fishery regulation
Mm-hmm.
act, which we have in our state. So it's a state
Mm-hmm.
matter. So
Mm-hmm.
we can see some loopholes in those acts. So definitely we
Mm-hmm.
need some amendments in those
Mm-hmm.
acts, because we have to include these communities, these fishing communities, as stakeholders. Finally, when we are going to conserve the ecosystem, aquatic ecosystem, where these community peoples are totally, they are dependent on that ecosystem, then so we have
Mm-hmm.
to include all those community peoples
Right.
to and make them as stakeholders. We have to give them the authority, so that they
Mm-hmm.
can feel it like their own, and they come out for the
Mm-hmm.
conservation of this ecosystem by themselves. So this
Mm-hmm.
the one thing that I would like to point out from the Fishery Act is it has regulations for fish ban season, but it don't have a regulation, for what do you say? Um, you don't have this one. They don't give any opportunity to the fishermen
Mm-hmm.
during that
Mm-hmm.
fish ban period. So
Right, right.
these fishermen
How are they
were
going
they
to
are,
survive? Right.
yeah, these
True, true.
fishermen, they are daily wage laborers. They catch fishes.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, catching
Mm-hmm.
fish is again one of the most chance kind of
It's a chance thing, yeah. Yeah.
yeah, it's totally dependent on chances whether they are going to make it or not. So it's totally
Mm-hmm.
dependent on chances. So on top of that, they are daily wage laborers. So
Mm-hmm.
they don't have something as a saving, the
Right.
like the
True,
one we have.
true,
So
true.
obviously, when you cut off their livelihood for three
Livelihood option.
months,
Right,
yes,
right.
for 3 months, then obviously you should
Mm-hmm.
have some optional thing for them, alternative for them.
Right,
Otherwise you are just pushing them to break the rules and
right.
do all
Get
those
into illegal activities
unrightful
also.
things. Yeah.
Right.
So those are some kinds of loopholes, we can say, in the act. Although
Mm-hmm.
we have the
Mm-hmm.
act are to actually protect the environment, but
Right.
when we keep loopholes in those acts, it actually
Mm-hmm.
do the uh, do the thing other way around. Actually, it
Mm-hmm.
will not serve the
Mm-hmm.
purpose.
It will
So
not serve. Right. True.
yeah, so those things
Very right.
have to be incorporated while we are making a conservation management plan, or whatever you will say,
Mm-hmm.
to conserve the
Mm-hmm.
species. So this is
Mm-hmm.
one aspect. And obviously there should be monitoring, continuous monitoring of using all those banned fishing nets,
Right.
which are obviously they are banned in the paper and pen, but they are actually
Mm-hmm.
happening in the
Right.
field.
Right. Right.
So
Right.
continue
True.
keeping a track record of all those things is very much necessary.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And apart from fishing, we can also see sand minings, which happens
Mm-hmm.
in lots of the parts of Assam, and also in Bihar and Uttar Pradesh area, where the
Mm-hmm.
sand
Mm-hmm.
has been mined from the riverbed in an unscientific manner. So
Mm-hmm.
but just for an example, if we consider the Kulsi River, a
Mm-hmm.
tributary of Brahmaputra. So people
Right.
over there, the sand mining communities were like, for the past 50 years, they are doing sand mining in Kulsi. Okay, so they were actually mining it in a very traditional way by digging up the sand with, what we call in Assam is the belsa and
Belsa,
buckets.
right.
So, in that way, they used to dig up the sands. But the recent development which we have seen in Kulsi is, digging the sands using all those mining pumps. Okay, so in that way, they are not only digging the sand, they are also taking out enormous amount of water from the river. So,
Correct. Correct.
so both ways it's hampering. It's taking out the minimal requirement of the riverbed stratum, which will act as a, it's a protective layer for the lower trophic level animals like the
Right.
planktons, the zooplanktons.
Right.
They are
True.
breeding
True. True.
grounds of all those microhabitat microfauna. So flora and
True.
fauna. So and
True.
they are actually disturbing the entire benthic zone. So it's not good for
Exactly.
the, yeah, it's not good. And also it's not only good for all those animals, but also it is hampering the entire river geomorphology. Because of those things, the rate of, bank erosion has increased.
Right.
So
Right.
these are some
So
of
the
the
so
consequences which are
so
facing
the
because
food
of,
chain, they are also affecting.
non-regulation.
They are
Yeah,
also affecting the food
the entire
chain.
geomorphology, yeah, river
The
geomorphology there.
entire thing. The entire thing. They're affecting it. Right. Right.
Yes, so
Right.
continuous monitoring of all those
Hmm. Hmm.
threats should be there,
Hmm.
uh,
Hmm.
which we right now we can see that it's missing.
Hmm. Right.
So
True. True.
whenever you are coming with some act or plan to
Hmm.
conserve a
Hmm.
habitat, so it's
Hmm.
the first thing is we have to do the ground truthing of what's
Hmm.
happening there, what's not happening there, which can
Hmm.
affect what and what not.
Correct.
So
Correct.
those those theories and
Hmm.
those research
Hmm.
and those results should be in our
Right.
hands, so which
True.
we are missing right now,
Right.
to come up with
And
a
and
very strong conservation management plan.
And what I have learned from the previous session from Bhaskar, Supreme Court has actually authorized all the NGOs to come up and work on these aspects. They
Okay.
are actually welcoming a lot of NGOs to come up and work on these aspects, because if the NGOs don't work on these aspects, who will? I mean,
Yeah,
because
true.
the NGOs will be a non-governmental organization in which they will be concerned about their own purpose. What is the purpose? What is the vision? So, I mean, that way, a lot of NGOs and a lot of people together voluntarily also should be coming ahead for this. I mean,
Yeah.
I being from Assam, you being from Assam, we love our Northeast, right? We love Assam.
Yes.
And it's a state aquatic animal we are talking about. This is the state aquatic animal. Why isn't the Gangetic River Dolphin getting that recognition and that importance and all those funds and all the attention that is required for Gangetic River Dolphin? It has to happen now. So
Yes.
how long are we going to wait? I mean, can we wait until where the current population that you have, as you have mentioned, it's sitting around 900, which used to be around 700 or probably even lesser than that. So probably it has gone up, but what are we doing? I mean, that is my concern. I mean, that's the reason,
So
I
this
really
population
felt
of
and our
100 and
organization felt,
200,
right.
this difference in population
Hmm.
of 100 and 200 doesn't matter at all. This
Right.
can just, in a fraction of 2 3 years, it can either go up or go down.
Go
So
down. Correct.
it's entirely depends on how we are managing our ecosystem, how
Ecosystem. Correct.
clean we are keeping it for our aquatic biodiversity to
Hmm.
thrive on. So that's
Hmm.
the main thing.
Hmm.
So we have to keep
Hmm.
that thing in a constant basis. We have to maintain that
Hmm.
constantly, then only we can
Right.
expect something. We making it from 700 to 600 is 600 to 700 is not a success, or 700 to
Hmm.
900 is not a
Hmm.
success. It
Not a
will be a
success. Right.
success if we can go like 50% increase or 80% increase or 100% increase. Then only it can be considered as a
Hmm.
success.
Hmm. True. 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 True.
And for that, obviously, we have to come up with some strong management plan, which can only
Correct.
happen with
Correct.
entire ground truthing of whatever is happening in those areas.
Hmm. 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 And there are all these components as well. I mean, law, let's say
Yes.
conservation, let's say
Yes.
research, let's say community work, let's say
Yes.
police also, intelligence sourcing also, everyone, the all the aspects has to be combined together as a whole,
Combined
right?
together. Obviously, it
Only
should be
right,
an integrated approach rather than a
correct, correct,
single-handed one.
correct, right, true, true. I mean, this is what certain people do not understand. Just only spreading awareness is not enough.
Not
Along with
enough.
awareness, what are
Awareness
the
should be at
components?
different
Right,
level. Yeah, awareness should be
true.
at different level, different like among different communities. It's not only the
Hmm.
ethnic communities or local communities we are talking about. It should be
Right,
every communities, right from the administration level to the
correct,
student level to the low mass, matlab,
right, true, true.
mass,
I understand. Yeah,
the general
yeah,
mass we
yeah.
are talking about.
Right, true, true, true. The overall mass has to understand, and that is the reason, I'm stressing on the point again and again. It is the state aquatic animal of Assam.
Yeah, true.
People are not seeing that. People are, I'm going to stress on it again and again, because people are not saying that. I have not seen anyone, coming up and talking about this. Neither any kind of, I could only see certain news in which, the media also has to play a very big role in this. I mean, the
Yes.
media cannot only talk about all what's happening to a rhino and other species, and which is fine. I mean, which is fine. I mean, of course, they are the flagship species, and they has to be protected and everything. But what about this one? What about this one? So I mean, it is with this aspect, that we cannot combine, or we cannot talk about it as a whole right now in this conversation,
Yes.
because of
True.
the time constraint,
Time
and because
constant
there's so many things that we need to
to
touch.
discuss.
I mean,
Yeah.
in the future sessions, I mean, the way we have built up, where we are building up with the community aspect, and then now you talking about all the technical aspects of it. I mean, there are even many more that we
Yes.
have to speak about, right? So I
Yes.
would, we would I would really request you to come up with more sessions with us, so that more people
Definitely,
like
I'm
you,
there.
more people
I'm
who
there,
have, right,
obviously.
right, right. So it is with this intention in mind, that we should do something for our state aquatic animal. If we
Yes.
don't do it now, when are we going to do it? When it gets extinct, when you get to see them on newspapers, or probably on social media, that this was this animal, this mammal we could not save. So you better we respond to it now and start working on it. And the fisherman community, we are going to come up on that later on, maybe in the later sessions we are going to come up. But Sunny, I would want you to end this show with certain messages that you want to give for all of us out here.
Um, you know, so the one thing I just want to
Mhm.
point out here is the conservation of any species, whatever it is, any
Mm.
species.
Mm.
That
Any
word
species.
conservation, yeah, that word
Mm.
conservation has its importance until we have that species on this earth. So it should
Right.
be our first motive to at least
Right.
you know
Mm.
keep the animal, keep it environment. We should like try to maintain that environment. We should try to manage that environment in its natural form as much as we can from our
True.
individual point of view. So
True.
that that animal does not only remain in the pictures or in the
Mm.
board books
Mm.
for
Right.
our future
True.
generations to say,
For our future generations.
so
Right.
so that they can enjoy it the way we are enjoying it right now, uh,
Mm.
in its actual habitat, in its actual natural habitat. So
Right.
that's what should be our motive
Right.
towards, and that's what should be our respect towards the word
Right. Respect.
conservation that we have,
True. True.
a human
True.
this human being, a human species races have generated
Right. Right.
about the word
True. True. True.
conservation.
True, true. Absolutely. I mean, this is how we should be. I mean, we should not only talk about what has happened earlier. Yes, we are going to talk about it. We are going to learn from them. And now,
Yes.
not only
And
us.
for the, yeah,
Mhm.
and for the upcoming generations, the new
Yes.
youths who
Yes.
have
Yes.
this very interest in a field of wildlife, or they want to
Right.
contribute something towards wildlife. So we
True.
have various
True.
organizations all over
True.
India. We have Wildlife Institute of
True.
India, we have NCBS.
Right.
So we have
Right.
lots of such organizations which are working in tits and bits in every other
Right.
parts of the
Right.
world. So
Right.
those doors are always open to this
Definitely. Definitely.
youths who are who actually uh,
Want to work.
work for the work for conservation in true sense, who
True.
were actually
True.
wanted to
True.
work.
True.
Yeah.
Absolutely. 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 And I would really encourage, because even I've been interacting with a lot of students from the MSc backgrounds, from the conservation backgrounds. I've
Yes.
taken them to various kind of camps and everything. Then I interact with them on various levels. So they certain people, they really want to work for this. They
Yes.
really want to know, they want to learn more. So I would suggest, if you really want to learn and get into the core of it, please join these kind of organizations like
Yes, there
WIA
are
and other
always
organizations.
internship
Right.
opportunities were
True.
always there.
True. True. True.
So
True.
anytime they can join these
True.
organizations, and also
True. Definitely.
uh, yeah, some local level or
Right.
NGOs are working, which we can
Right. Right.
just go there and join there. The one
Right.
you have
True.
come
True.
up with, this modus
Right.
operandi is really coming up
Right.
nice. So people can
Right.
approach anytime.
Right. So our entire intention is only to spread the awareness about environment and the wildlife protection. Why is it important, and why should we act now? So the bottom line has always been that, and we should all grow together exponentially. That's the tagline that we have. I mean, growing exponentially together, but only keeping the environment in sync, also looking and guiding, and also telling the younger generation to come up, because we will disappear after 20, 15 years or 30 years down the line, right? So these are the people who are going to come up and carry forward this kind of work, and they have to be guided and probably given this platform now.
Yes,
So
truly
if
said.
they're not given now, I mean, it'll be really late for us. I mean, there'll be no hope for us. So yeah, with
Yes.
this, I mean, thank you so much, Sunny,
This was a
for
great
this
session. Thank you
session. I
so
mean,
much to you too.
right. 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 Thank you so much. And we really look forward that, you go ahead and give us inputs about all these aspects, and also the kind of work that you were doing. It's really commendable. I had the pleasure of working with you all. And right now, even though I'm not working on those aspects, but yes, please continue your work. And we as Modus Operandi team are always going to be with anything that you are trying to do, because we know that you're only going to do good out there for the environment and the wildlife.
Thank you so much, Manas. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sunny. I would like to end this session now. So, viewers, if you want to know more about this session, you can get into our links below, and you can also check the profile and what kind of work Sunny Deori has been doing, also, and what kind of work is she inspiring others to do as well. So, keeping that in mind, we would like to end this session right now. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining in, and we look forward for everyone to come up with your views. You can leave your comments and any kind of discussion that you want to have with Sunny as well, and with us overall. And we will be glad to connect you with other people also. There are many people working on the wildlife and the environment. There are many people. So let us connect to them, and probably use this platform as a way to connect.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, Sunny. With
Thank
this,
you.
I will just go ahead and end this session today. Thank you so much, Sunny.
Thank you.
Right.